Okay, our 1979 CX500 Cafe Racer build. In this episode, we're going to be mounting the monoshock and making the bracket for the seat. Now, I definitely want your comments to see how I'm doing. Actually, not how I'm doing, how Vince is doing, because this is Vince's project. I think he's doing a fantastic job. Here we go. Initial diagnosis is that doesn't look too bad. Vince is having a lot of fun putting this together, and he finished welding this up while I had some other engagements. Alright, so that's the look that we're going for. Basically, we're going to start cutting the back half of that. We'll pull off the carbs and plug everything off so that we don't get any dirt inside, and then start getting into the back end. Here we go. Dangerous way to use the grinder. Living on the edge. Nice. Okay, so you see by the time lapse that Vince finished up, and then I came and put the seat on. Seat's just temporary. I just wanted to see what it would look like. And man, does that ever look good? So, Vince didn't weld anything solid. He just made the brackets. We're gonna clean everything up, make that look 100%. And I wanted to make sure that the travel was right before he welded anything solid. So it was the weekend, so I had family obligations. You can see me come back and weld in my good clothes because I just welded a little brace for the seat so that I could get a good view of what this thing looks like, and that will be basically the stance that we're going for. So nice and clean. Once the carbs are here, that'll fill this space, and then that will leave this nice and open. This will be a little bit thicker because we're going to build the bars that support the seat. We only need to support it where your butt is. We don't need to support anything sitting back here, but we don't need that to be flexible. So we might put a little flat bar in there, but we're going to build this out of tin and all that first. We're going to shorten the front shocks because right now I have them tied down just so that we kind of figure out where the stance is. But I put it on wheels because this is Vince's project. I'm gonna roll this out of the way and keep hanging my cabinets, which is in a separate video, but we'll continue on as soon as Vince gets back, kind of weekend project. But for now, there I go. You wanna say what you did?
Sure.
This is your project. I got nothing to do with this.
Well, we cut that suspension arm off and then plated the hole. And then we tried to keep the rib going along there. So I just stuck a nail there, ran a bead beside each side, so it pretty well looks like it came like that.
Nice. Factory, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I wanted some really nice videos of you taking beside this thing, but you're like...
Nah, you can't get the torch in there where you need to do wraps, and You'd have to pile it on.
You heard it here. Vince said he can't. It's the first time I've heard you say that.
We're in for the need for speed, I think. That would take a while.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this right off and flip it over. Not a problem.
Yeah.
But, no.
Nice. So yeah, just make that up really nice. That's really nice welds in there. I can't do that.
The machine runs pretty good.
Yeah, it is a nice welder, eh?
Consistent. It's not stabby, which is nice.
Okay.
Nice.
It's not too spattery.
Yeah.
Just fine tuned.
Right on, and then yeah, you move the nail over on that side. That looks pretty slick.
Yeah. Is it that little rib?
Yeah. Nice. So that's done, and then I still got to get you some steel to bring that out.
Yep.
But, yeah, we're moving.
Movement's nice.
Yeah. Right on.
Good.
So what's next?
Home.
Home?
I don't know, whatever you want to go.
Home, yeah. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm done for the day, so. Right on. I will get some steel. I'm gonna run to McPowell's tomorrow. Are you off all week?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, okay.
Whenever you need me to go home.
Yeah, then tomorrow I'll run and grab some steel and we'll work on the seat.
Sure.
We'll start doing that profile and then go from there.
Excellent.
Alright, here we go. Alright, next day. I picked this thing up from Amazon and it's kind of cheap. Just a slit cut into a U and then the LED light goes in there, and that's okay. We'll epoxy fill that, I think, afterwards. We'll make it so that it's at least solid all the way around with the light in the background, otherwise water's gonna get in there. It's gonna be kind of crappy. But what I did was found a couple pieces of solid steel, just machined it so that it fits inside. And then Vince is going to drill a couple holes in here, plug weld it there, and then weld it nice and neat on the seam on both sides. And then we got to figure out how to attach it here. So we took the cloth off. We're gonna use this as a template and make this out of actual tin. So what we'll probably do is bend the two ends and then go up like this, and then we'll form this back piece and then just weld it on the seam there because it's too sharp. And then grind that nice and neat. We can weld that from the bottom. But before we do that, we gotta make that to here. So basically we want the tank and the seat. So I think what we'll do, Vince, it's up to you. You can do it however you want. I would think, if we cut this brace off,
Yep.
and then we can, I think, leave the tube and then stick the other bar right inside that.
Yep.
And then same thing, plug weld it. So we've got multiple braces there. And then don't weld the back just yet, but stick the bars in. And then I think heat them up and bend them where they match.
Pretty sturdy there.
Yeah, I would still leave this tacked. Like, this is still a reference point for the tank, because the tank has to go here. But if you want to cut this and bend these up higher to get the right profile, or tweak the tube a little bit.
Get the tank to come flat too.
Yeah. Then you can put the bars in there. Yeah, even if you tack it right onto the bar, then it's not gonna move. And even if you just like leave a touch of it still on there, on the very front, we can still bend, because they come down a bit and we gotta bend it up a bit. So, but you'll figure it out. As long as the seat is level with the tank, and before you weld it solid, we'll just make sure that the distance is right before you start bending it up. We should be pretty close. So we got this in place, and massage this into the right shape. But basically that is the mount for the seat. She's good and sturdy. So what we're doing now is I didn't want to take the 3/4 inch bar and weld it right onto the side, because it's also the mount for the engine and the coil and the fuel tank. So we started back here, and I know you're thinking, Rich, that looks poo-poo, because this is big and this is small. and this is all different colors, and this is hollow, and this is solid, but it's not done yet. So what Vince is doing now is making a brace just from here to kind of curl around and hit the bar there, and it's already sturdy enough, but that will hide this 100%. So when you're looking, it's still gonna be part of this, like you're gonna see this bracket for the shock mount anyway. So with that curled in real nice, you'll be able to see the bracket, get the bolt out, and it will hide this spot right here. Now this is in line with the fuel tank, and that looks really sharp. We're gonna modify the fuel tank a little bit, probably put some knee cutouts in there just to give the tank some more shape and texture. And we'll probably take that out of a fender or a cab corner. I might look at my dad's truck. I think the top cab corner, we can cut that out and weld that in there. And then, but it is already a pretty small tank, so it looks like a big size tank, but then it's hollow, so there's not a whole lot of fuel to go in here in the first place. So we don't want to take out too much, just give it a little bit of something different, so that makes it our bike, right? But Vince will keep working on this. We'll polish this up. We'll weld this solid. So we'll plug weld it in the back. We'll TIG weld it all nice and neat around there. And then weld this bracket really nice. And we're moving right along. Here we go. Okay, so that's where we're at with the bike as of right now. Vince is having a lot of fun putting this together, and he finished welding this up while I had some other engagements. Turned out really, really nice, really happy with it, but we're gonna stop the video right there. Hopefully this gives you some ideas on how to put a monoshock on there and how to put your back seat bracket on. Definitely read the comments in case I completely mess this up and whatever. This is our first Cafe Racer build, but this is something that Vince is really passionate about. I wanted to find a project for him. So we're just trading some labor because I put an engine in his journey for him, and by paying me back, he gets to work on something cool and hopefully ride it when it's done. There was comments in the last video that the shock isn't strong enough. That is a 1,000-pound shock. If it's not heavy enough, we can put a different one in there. But I really wanted this look of all of this being open and then being able to put the seat on it after. So next video, we're gonna work on the seat a little bit. I bought the seat because it was cheap and it had a nice brown, kind of tan looking material on it. But unfortunately, this is plastic. And who wants plastic? Plastic is cheap, and we don't want that. So next video, I think next video will be one of two things. We'll either be making this out of tin, running over to Princess Auto, grabbing some tools and some equipment, and I think we'll just use that as a mold, maybe try to put some concrete mold together and use the press to punch out one of those out of tin, or we'll form it with their C-clamp or their English wheel and brake and stretcher shrinker, or we're going to notch some cutouts for the knees in the tank. Now the tank doesn't have much fuel in it already, but I really kind of want to have a curve that ends up kind of right at the edge of this engine here, just to give it another body line, and I'm really kind of looking forward to that. Not that it's going to be super practical because it's going to reduce our mileage and we're not going to be leaning the bike that much that we need our knees cut out anyway, but I do have really long legs, so I might have to put those knees on there somewhere. Okay, so definitely keep the comments coming. I appreciate all of your guys' input. Again, this being our first two-wheel build. We're learning, and hopefully you guys are learning as well. Cafe Racer is kind of like, do what is best for you, make it your own, and I'm happy with how it's going so far. So, yeah, remember, if you're not filthy, you're probably not working on a 45-year-old motorcycle in your garage, but you should be. You should be. Get out there and work on it because nobody else is going to. Here we go.